Chile Relleno. Yummy, yummy, delicious pepper. Ugh, delicious. Waiting for me to have a pan, get hot. How does it kick? Love it. Guantes. My grandma taught me right. Stuffing level. Oh yeah. Celebrate Chili's, come on. Do, 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 do. Hey everyone. Busy mommy here again. Hola familia. And this week is week 4 of my journey, so we're going to do some more meal prepping. Today we're gonna meal prep one of my favorite accidental inventions. I don't know if it's an accidental invention. Honestly, my grandma's made these before, but not filled with this. Chile Relleno, right? That is an amazing, so super yummy stuffed poblano pepper. I'm gonna grab one to show you. This is a poblano pepper. They're not very spicy, though some can be. Typically, a chile relleno will have a poblano pepper that you then, toast up. I'll show you how to do that. Peel the skin off, you devein it, remove everything from the inside, and then you stuff it with cheese, with chicken, with really whatever you want, and it's delicious. So you put it in flour, and then you dip it in a egg batter that you make with egg whites. Now, I'm not gonna do that. Not that they're really super anti-keto, because they're not, but honestly, I just didn't want to do all that. It takes quite a bit of time to make the egg, because you have to make, like hard peaks, and then you have to fold in the egg yolk, and you have to then make it perfect so that you can then do that, and then you gotta fill it, and then you gotta, honestly, I just didn't have the time. So I decided I was just gonna make chile relleno, but a different way. I'm not battering it. I'm going to fill it, stuff it with a chipotle chicken that I'm gonna make, that I love making. This sauce that I'm about to make to show you, I make all year long. And then I love it on the grill in the summer. It's so good. Everybody loves it. It's my chipotle chicken. It's really good. I actually use it as like a spread on sandwiches sometimes. My little brother, Danny, shout out Danny, loves it too. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're going to stuff them with chipotle chicken and cheese, and then we're gonna bake them. We're going to pair this with a Mexican cauliflower rice, which we'll have a separate video for. So how do you start chile relleno stuffed with chipotle chicken? Well, first, you start off with making these peppers charred. A few ways you could do that. You can put them in the oven, you can bake them in there, and then they'll get charred on the outside. A faster way to do it is to just directly put this on the fire. And that's what we're gonna do, because that is how I was taught. That is how I'm supposed to make it, so that is how I will make it. If you have an electric stove and you don't have fire, you can actually put it on a pan, a pancake pan, which we call comal. You can use that to char it all the way around, just high heat, let it char. But I'm gonna go with the grandma way, and that is straight on the fire. So let's get to charring. Follow me. So you're gonna take your poblano peppers and you're gonna put them directly on the fire, and you're just gonna let them sit there for a minute or two. Now you can use tongs, you can hear them crackling up, but you're just going to continue to turn them, and I use my hands because that's how I was taught. As you can see, like a little bit of char is starting to happen, so you're just gonna keep that going, and then I'm gonna show you, they're gonna turn kind of like this. So we're gonna continue to char them, put them in the baggie, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so all my peppers are officially charred. This is what you want. You want to try to get at least amount of green to show. You want it all to be pretty black. And you're going to go ahead and put them in a zip top bag and seal them up. So what this is gonna do, and it's gonna get all hot and steamy, which is great. You're gonna set them aside, and you're gonna let them steam for about 10-15 minutes, about as long as it takes you to make the chicken. The reason why is because you want these peppers to get soft. That char will come right off, and they'll cool, and it'll just come right off, and you'll have like a beautifully tasting, yummy, yummy, delicious pepper. Now, while you wait, let's start on with our lovely chicken. So you want a hot pan. Now, I'm gonna give you the ingredients for a dinner, okay? I'm doing these as meal prep for the week. So I'm gonna double the recipe because I'm going to eat these myself for the week at work for lunch. Here I have 3 pounds of chicken. You don't need 3 pounds, you can use 1.5. So the recipe that I'm gonna give you now is for 1.5, or for 1 serving. As you see, everything's gonna look a little bit more than what I'm telling you. That's because I'm doubling it. So I have 3 pounds of diced up chicken breast. You can do chicken thighs, you can do chicken breast, you can do whatever you want. Now you're going to dice it up nice and small, and then I went ahead and added some adobo to this. So adobo is like an all-purpose seasoning that we use in Latin cooking quite a bit. If you don't have any of that, which is totally fine, you don't need it, you just salt and pepper. So really there's no kind of measurement to it because you just need to put a little bit on top. I would say if I had to measure it, I did probably half a teaspoon, but I just sprinkled it on top, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put some olive oil in my pan. Okay, so now that you've seasoned your chicken and you're going to place it into your hot pan with some olive oil in it, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer the chicken. Remember, I'm doubling this recipe, so looks like more. And then just go ahead and make an even layer of chicken so that it starts to cook all the way around. Now while this is cooking, we're gonna make our sauce. To make the sauce, I like to use a smaller blender just because I have it handy. You're gonna wanna add 6 cloves of garlic. Remember, I'm doubling this, so you're gonna see more than I'm saying. And then you're gonna add 1/4 of an onion. You're gonna add 1/4 cup of olive oil. These are chipotle peppers. I love chipotle peppers. You can just do the sauce. You can just do 1 pepper in here. I would suggest you can buy chipotle salsa where it's like the blended up peppers as well. This is a 7-ounce can. You can do half of the can. That's what I would typically do for this recipe. Then I'm gonna go ahead and blend this, and then I'm gonna add some salt. So let's get to blending. Okay, once that's done blending up, I'm going to add some salt. So I'm going to put half a teaspoon of salt in here, and I'm going to blend it up and see if that's good enough. Sometimes I need a little more. Sometimes I like to err on the side of less salt and then add more later. Okay, so I went ahead and added the salt. We're gonna taste now to see if I need to add any more, but I think half a teaspoon is probably going to be enough. Perfect. All right, so now you have your marinade / sauce ready to go. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing about this sauce. You're going to want to eat it on its own. It's really good with eggs. It's good on tostadas. It's good on a sandwich instead of mayo. Oh, it's just so good. It gets all creamy in the fridge too, just because it lasts a little bit longer that way. Now with this sauce, because it's a little spicy, I like to add either cream cheese or sour cream when I'm getting ready to put this in my filling. So we'll add that so you can see, but the sauce on its own, delicious. We're gonna continue to cook the chicken through. Then we're going to add some zucchini. So last time I made this, it was really good and I loved it. But I thought maybe I should add a little more veggies because sometimes we can stuff these with rice. And I didn't want to stuff it with rice, obviously. So I'm going to add some zucchini to this to give it a little more bite and make the chicken last a little bit longer in the sense of having more filling for more peppers. Okay, so your chicken has browned and it's nice and cooked. We're gonna go ahead and add the zucchini. Now this is optional, but you're going to go ahead and add the zucchini to your chicken before you add the marinade. So now that this is kind of all fully incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and add my sauce. Let's see. I'm going to add half of the sauce for now, which is what I typically do. All right, so now I just got to make sure it's all incorporated into everything. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for a minute, and then I'm going to add the cream cheese to it. Now to this, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 ounces of cream cheese, which this is 4 because, again, I'm doubling it, but you would add 2 ounces of cream cheese. Now you can use sour cream, you can use a little heavy cream, whatever you want here, honestly. I just like cream cheese because it adds a little more thickness to the sauce. But I do this with sour cream too. So we're just gonna stir this all up, make sure that it's all fully incorporated. And then we're gonna let it sit on low while we prepare everything else for this meal. Okay, so I've stirred it all up, got everything incorporated. Now I'm gonna taste for salt. Has a kick. So now that everything's all incorporated with a little bit of salt that I added. So what we're gonna do now that it's all incorporated, we've checked for salt, we added a little bit more salt, everything is good. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and let it cool because we're gonna use it to stuff the peppers. It's going to cook a little bit more. The zucchini's not all the way cooked through. That's gonna cook through a little bit more when you put it in the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside, let it cool while we get our peppers ready. Your peppers should be nice and soft, and at this point they should be cooled. I'm gonna do one at a time. I'm gonna show you something. I remember doing this for the first time with my grandma. We made Chile Rellenos because I love them. And I was like, let's make Chile Rellenos, Mare, can we make them? We talk about it and I'm like, okay, let me put on gloves. And she's like, guantes. Spanish word of the day today, gloves. AKA guantes. And she's like, guantes. Eso no se necesitan los guantes. Basically, you don't need gloves. Like, what is wrong with you? Who puts gloves on? She was like, how dare you? We don't put gloves on. What? I was like, okay, grandma, sorry. And she wouldn't, like, they would still be hot and she's like peeling them and I'm like, it's so hot. It's so hot. And she's like, don't worry about it. You'll like, basically she would tell me like, your fingers will be fine. And now when I make tortillas on the, like stove, if I want to make them like on the stove top, I go directly on the fire and everybody's like, how do you do that? My grandma taught me right. So use your hands. You don't need guantes, but we're going to go ahead and peel. As you can see, I've like started to peel. All the char comes off and then you set them aside. Gonna continue to do it for all the peppers. So I have 9, so it's gonna take me a minute, so you guys don't have to watch me do that. We will fast forward and get to the next step. All right, so we've peeled all the peppers. Now you're gonna make a nice little just thin slit on one side of the pepper. Try not to go to the other side of the pepper because you wanna keep them intact because we're gonna stuff these. Well, the reason why we're opening this up is we're gonna get all the seeds out. So what I try to do is I use a spoon and scrape it. Now we're moving on to the stuffing level. You're going to go ahead and grab yourself a glass container to actually put your filling in. I have some shredded Mexican cheese, which is like 4 different types of cheeses in here. You can really do whatever cheese is your favorite. I would suggest shredded cheese. So you're gonna stuff the peppers. I leave them a little open, obviously, and I fill them up pretty good. And then I top them with cheese. Just want some of the cheese, like I push it in so some is inside the pepper itself. And then we're gonna kind of close it up like that and put it aside. And then continue to do that until you have all of your peppers stuffed with cheese and chicken and deliciousness. All right, so we've gone ahead and stuffed all of our peppers, topped them with cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and bake this at 350 for about 20 minutes. I go ahead and look. Basically, everything is pretty much cooked. We just want everything to meld together. So I'm gonna make sure the cheese is nice and bubbly and everything looks good. So throw them in for about 20 minutes. Sometimes I go 30, it just really depends on your oven. And then we'll come back, plate them up and eat them. All right, so my poblano peppers are all done and they look beautiful. Yummy and chewy. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my plate. And now it's time to try them. Now, if you're wondering what this is, no, it's not regular Mexican rice. It's cauliflower Mexican rice. If you wanna see how to make this, there's a video down below in the description, but it goes great. My meal prep is gonna be so delicious and so vegetable rich, which I'm so happy about. Also, a quick little note, poblano peppers actually only have 1 net carb as opposed to like 5 or 6 that green peppers have. So whenever you're thinking about making stuffed peppers, think about using poblanos instead. You'll get a little spice kick, it'll get delicious, but anyway, I digress. All right, so let's try the pepper. It's creamy, it's spicy, it's cheesy, it's so good. Mixed with my rice. Sometimes I need to toot my own horn because this stuff is so good. As always, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the rest of this for dinner tonight. I'm not gonna even wait. So good. Let me know if you tried it. What did you stuff your peppers with? And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye. I have my little cheerleading squad over here in case you didn't know. My daughters are cheering and dancing over here while I'm making these peppers, which is so cute.